You're watching Reality Check. Tonight we dive deep into the FIRs registered in the JNU attacks to uncover potential bias and serious questions over the role in the action by the police and JNU's administration in response to that terrible night of violence that rocked the university on Sunday the 5th. Remember, 3 FIRs have been filed by the police that we know of starting from the night of the 5th when the violence was at its peak. But 2 of those FIRs have nothing to do with the 5th. They pertain to earlier instances of violence in JNU. But let's begin with a 3rd FIR, which does address the night of violence, but it raises more questions than it answers. Until now, the police have claimed that they were called in late, and that's why they couldn't fully contain the JNU violence. But in their own FIR, the police admit that they were present as the violence unfolded. Remember, the violence unfolded over at least 2 waves, and the police say in their FIR that they were present for both. They say that the FIR says on the violence in the Periyar hostel which took place, they say that despite warning, miscreants continued to cause damage. They say that when it came to the Sabarmati hostel, where the violence was even worse, it says that despite issuing warnings, the miscreants continued to break things and only then ran away. My colleague Mariam Alvi joins me, as does Arvind Gunashekhar. They've been tracking this big story. So Mariam, coming to you first now, as we've been reporting, these FIRs by the police's own admission admit their presence as the violence was unfolding in an almost 3-hour window that day. But this goes against the official line that has been taken so far.
Yes, Vasu. So the FIR clearly states that on the 5th, the police, at least one inspector and a few officers were deployed at the administration block of JNU. They say that around 3:45 p.m. they got information about violence at the Periyar hostel, where they went, saw at least 40 to 50 masked miscreants indulging in violence. But on seeing the police, they ran away. They also speak of how at 7 p.m. they got a call about violence at the Sabarmati hostel. Here again, they saw around 50 to 60 people. And despite issuing warnings over a PA system, they continued to break things and did not pay heed to the warnings and later ran away. But what is more interesting is that at the time of the Periyar violence, they say that इसी दौरान स्थिति पर नियंत्रण रखने के लिए JNU प्रशासन की तरफ से एक request letter प्राप्त हुआ था. They're saying that at the time of the Periyar violence, which was said to be around 3:45 p.m. by the way, that they got a request letter from the JNU administration asking them to help control the situation in the campus. And on receiving this letter, the police already on campus had called for extra force.
Right.
Now, the police's official version has been that they got this request from the JNU administration only at 7:45 p.m. And that's when the police entered campus. But their own FIR here says that they probably got a request at 3:45 p.m. So why did the police wait until 7:45 p.m. to enter campus until after the fracas at Sabarmati hostel, which was said to be around 7 p.m.?
Right. So in fact, the FIR establishing that there was not that they were waiting for that 7:45 p.m. letter, they were already in the campus. They were present at both acts of violence with an almost 4-hour gap, but yet couldn't contain it. Now, the silence over the attackers is all the more surprising because remember, this FIR has not taken any names. It is not mentioned whether it is ABVP or the left. And this is surprising given that there is a visual trail, as you can see on your screen, pointing to potential attackers. These are images that we've been playing since yesterday, which appear to show members of the ABVP past and present there at the spot carrying lathis and wandering around the campus. Now, we know that when it comes to the FIR, the FIRs which is actually named people, that has to do with Aishi Ghosh, who is actually injured in the attack. My colleague Arvind Gunashekhar also joins us for this part of the story, where Arvind, what we've been pointing out from the morning, and we still don't have a clear answer from the administration, is that the administration was registering 2 FIRs against Aishi Ghosh and other left students at the very point, the very moment when the violence was at its peak and she was injured, and those FIRs pertain to incidents that had taken place 2 or 3 days earlier.
Yeah, Vasu, Delhi police has registered 2 FIRs against IC Ghosh, who is the JNU president, and also few other JNU students for an alleged incident that happened on January 1st and also on January 4th. In fact, 2 FIRs have been registered by Delhi police. The first FIR has been registered against IC Ghosh and 7 other JNU students on January 5th at around 8:39 p.m. and the second FIR was registered for an alleged incident that happened on January 4th at around 8:43 p.m. on same January 5th. So both these FIRs have named IC Ghosh as an accused along with few other JNU students. So this timing is very much important. That is from 8:39 to 8:43 p.m. in a span of 4 minutes, 2 FIRs have been registered against her. That was the time when IC Ghosh was attacked and she was admitted to AIIMS hospital.
Right. Okay, so at the time at 8:45 p.m. on night of Sunday when the violence was raging, the JNU administration chooses to register FIRs against whom? Not against those who were carrying out the violence, but against someone who was injured in the violence for something that happened several days ago. Now, we tried to understand from the police exactly how this happened, and this is what they said.
5 तारीख के इंसिडेंट से रिलेटेड एक ही एफआईआर दर्ज हुई है पुलिस स्टेशन वसंत कुंज नॉर्थ में। बाकी जो 2 एफआईआर के बारे में बात हो रही है वो एक सर्वर है जिसपे ऑनलाइन एप्लीकेशंस होस्ट होती हैं जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी की, उसके डैमेज से रिलेटेड है। वो एफआईआर 4 तारीख को दर्ज की गई थी।
We also tried to ask the JNU administration about this, and this was their explanation.
The security report comes and then a complaint is lodged to the police. The police takes its own time, studies and decides whether an FIR is necessary, not necessary, complaint is genuine, not genuine, prima facie case is there, not there, legal, not legal. Then they keep on making FIR.
So you're saying the complaints from your end were made on 3rd and...
It was going every day whenever something or the other took place in the last couple of weeks.
January
Yes,
evening.
yes.
You sent it
So it can be maybe coincidental. We did not push the police to take lodge an FIR against ABCD. It is the police which acted on their own wisdom.
Okay, so your complaints were made before the 5th of January.
Of course.
Okay, so there the JNU proctor saying that we had actually complained much earlier against IC Ghosh and the others. The police chose to only register it on the night of the 5th, but the police version is very different. Look at that now. We put it up on the screen for you. The police is actually saying that the complaint was received by them just at 8:43 or 8:39, and they registered it just a few minutes later. So the FIR clearly says that the complaint was registered several minutes before on that very night itself, and it was filed on that very night itself. So who is telling the truth, the JNU administration or the police? That remains yet another one of the many mysteries of that night. Okay, joining us tonight on the show, we have with us Lalita Kumar Mangalam, Director India Foundation, member of the BJP. We have with us Ambuj Mishra, who's a ABVP student from JNU, and Dr. N.C. Asthana, retired from the IPS, is on us with Skype. And also we have Vrinda Grover, Advocate, Supreme Court. So if I could just start with you, Vrinda, if you now look at the details emerging from this multitude of FIRs that have been lodged by the police, what is the story that in your view is emerging?
Well, see, if we look at the FIRs, which are official documents, and therefore we can only go by the version that is given here. As has been said on your show already, they refer to very clearly, there is an FIR 3 of 20 and 4 of 20, both at the same police station, both of which refer to incidents, one to the incident of 1st and one to an incident of 4th. However, it says very clearly that it is lodged on 5th January 2020, within minutes of each other, one at 8:39 p.m. and the other at 8:43 p.m. In fact, they are successive DD entries. One is 84A, one is 85A. So this is the record, this is the police record. What do they refer to? They refer to incidents that have happened much earlier. Why? And in fact, it's very interesting. It says there is no delay in lodging. That's what the police has said. The law is also very clear that whenever information of a cognizable offence is reached, the police shall register an FIR.
Right.
This is regarding some disruptions, and they name categorically the students, which includes members of JNU SU, including Aishi Ghosh. What is very puzzling is that the perfect coordination in which this is happening. If these complaints have been sent by JNU authorities, which would be the JNU security and the JNU administration, surely the police would have lodged it at an earlier date, or the JNU administration would have asked why nothing has been done. At the time when we know for a fact, and it's not just from the police FIR, because the police FIR of and the 5th January incident is registered on 6th January. There is no FIR of 5th January. And the police is present there. By their own FIR, the police force is present.
Yes.
The incident is over. They have taken the injured teachers, students to AIMS Trauma Center.
Yes.
They do not lodge an FIR. I mean, this is not just, this is way past dereliction. There is clearly something else operating as to how this is to be coordinated and record is to be prepared.
Right.
The 6th January FIR, it's not just the complete absence of names. It also says that we received many PCR phone calls at the police station. And if you were to read the media reports, because it appears that the media is actually collecting evidence
Yes.
and testimonies, the testimonies including of faculty members in Transit House who were attacked and hid in their homes with their children and terrorized by the mob. They say that we were calling up the security and the police desperately for help. The FIR claims, yes, they received these calls. And yet there is no name at all. They have given names in the earlier FIRs. The other very interesting thing is that the earlier FIR, which is only about disruptions, actually has much more serious sections attracted. Whereas here they say we have taken students and 34 of them have gone to AIMS Trauma Center with grievous head injuries. And there is not a single provision on the next day when the NLC is ready already. They know the nature of the injury.
Okay, we're covering a lot of ground here. Let me take it one by one. Let me just go across to Asthana Saab. Asthana Saab, now, when you look at exactly how things have unfolded here, without getting into the nitty-gritties, would you say there is some sort of a question mark here in the manner in which the police and the administration have responded to this particular incident?
Yeah, as Vrinda Grover has very rightly pointed out, there are very clear discrepancies in the matter of registration of FIRs. But in a professional manner, the more fundamental mistake by the police is that I have checked up from several media sources that they maintained that after what had happened at Jamia, they did not want to enter JNU without VC nod. That's a fundamental legal mistake. There is absolutely no provision in the CRPC which restricts the police from entering any place for effecting the arrest of a person for which the police has authority to arrest either with or without warrant. Section 47(1) and 47(2) of the CRPC are very clear on this.
The only problem here, though, Asthana Saab, is that according to their own FIR, they were already present. They didn't necessarily even have to take permission. They say we were present when the violence was happening at the Periyar hostel, but the masked goons ran away. They say we were present when the violence happened at Sabarmati hostel, but the masked goons ran away. So this is something which is surprising. But Lalita Kumaramangalam, let me ask you that, you know, if one were to look at the broader implication that is emerging from this, and this is the allegation being made, that this is being done with some kind of political framework, that you file an FIR against the left students on the night when the violence is being perpetrated by a mob with perhaps links to the ABVP, and then the police are standing by and not taking any action against the perpetrators.
In fact, police being present there and not
Vasu, first of all,
Lalita Kumaramangalam, please. Yes, Asthana Saab, I'll come to you. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Vasu, first of all, I think it's very unfair to just claim that the people who perpetrated the violence were from the ABVP. as of now, nobody seems to know actually 100% surely who perpetrated the violence. So let me begin by saying that whoever perpetrated the violence should be punished. To jump to conclusions that it was the left or the right, I'm not going to do that. I don't
no, but the
deal
FIR,
in, you know, this
sorry
sort
to
of
interrupt, but the FIR
has no
lodged by the
intent-
JNU
the FIR
administration does name the left students. So the JNU administration, at least in one instance, has taken a call and said it was the left students. So there has been naming of names, but only of one
Vasu,
side.
the JNU administration was present there. I wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that somebody is lying or somebody is not lying, but if there has been any sort of dereliction of duty on the part of the police, that too needs to be probed. But the point here is that and we need to also look at it from the point of the view of the police, regardless of what the law may be. After the hullabaloo and the huge outcry that was created by people when police entered Jamia, the police themselves, I think, backed off and said, no, let's wait for permission before we can get into JNU. Everybody knew that there was violence going on, not just that evening. I think it escalated to a point that evening, which it should never have escalated to.
The police were already present there.
But there was a lot of violence that was going on that was not covered by both the press and many other people
the police
from the
in
public.
their own FIR.
There were students who were being prevented from registering. They were being slapped around. There were lots of other things.
But ma'am,
now,
the police was already present there.
This cannot be looked at in isolation, Vasu. I'm sorry to sort of keep interrupting and saying this to you, but this is not an incident that happened just in isolation and out of the blue. There has been a lot of violence that's been building up in JNU. About a month or so ago, the police was thoroughly trashed by everybody. Okay,
but
liberal, secular, non-secular, whatever names you want to give people for entering a particular university without permission, for beating up people,
in this instance,
innocents,
I'm not sure if you're able to hear me.
Today we are saying, why didn't the police enter university?
Able to hear me? What I'm trying to ask,
ma'am,
what I'm trying to say is that in this instance,
very well.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is in this instance, it's a misnomer to suggest that the police needed permission to enter because they were reluctant after the Jamia episode. They were, and I'm repeating this again, already inside the campus. They were present in the campus by their own admission and simply saying that every time they approached a place where violence was taking place, people ran away. They were already present there. And yet they couldn't arrest, and
Vasu,
even today, ma'am, not a single person has been arrested. That's the point.
Can you let me now reply to you without interrupting, please?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
The first thing is that when the violence started, the police were not on the campus.
They were,
violence in JNU didn't just take place over the last couple of days, just one. No, they weren't. They went in afterwards. They themselves admitted that they waited for the permission from the VC, which they say was delayed for whatever reason it may have been delayed.
Ma'am, I'm sorry,
and then
that's
they
not
entered
true.
the campus. They were not in the campus earlier.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't want to
true.
interrupt.
You should probably talk to the local police there.
The FIR itself, the FIR says
the FIR
we were
says
present.
That they were there and goons ran away.
Yes, but they were present inside the campus.
JNU, violence was still going on.
They were present inside the campus when the violence was going on.
That is what nobody seems to be understanding and nobody wants to seem to admit.
But they are
yes, they entered it when violence was going on, but not when it started. Violence had been going on for some time.
Okay.
The police should not have waited, but given the fact that there was such a massive national outcry after Jamia, they went into without permission, etc., etc. It's now easy to criticize the police saying, why didn't they go into it?
Okay, ma'am, there is police deployed inside Jamia.
Today are saying, why didn't they enter JNU?
The police is already deployed inside JNU.
Sorry?
The police has been deployed already within JNU. They are themselves saying that by their own FIR, we were already present in JNU.
But we have seen over the last 1 month.
We were there in JNU. We saw it.
Over the last 1 month, the police was being hounded regardless of whether they did their job or didn't.
Okay, we're stuck on a point. We're stuck on a point. But let me
I couldn't hear what you said, Brinda.
Yeah, let me just go to Ambuj Mishra. Ambuj Mishra जी ये बताइए कि ये आरोप लगाया जा रहा है कि जो पूरा जिस तरह से प्रशासन पुलिस काम कर रही है और एबीवीपी सब तालमेल में है कि एफआईआर दर्ज किया है उसमें आईसी घोष का नाम लिया है 2-3 दिन पहले की घटना में, और एफआईआर उसी रात को लॉन्च किया था जब पूरी तरह से हिंसा जेएनयू में हो रही थी। और उस एफआईआर में न एबीवीपी का नाम है, न लेफ्ट का नाम है, किसी का नाम नहीं है।
देखिए, मैं आपको बता दूं कि ये जो घटनाक्रम हुआ, मैं उस घटनाक्रम का खुद विक्टिम हूं, इसलिए काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें मेरे सामने हुई। जो दोपहर की घटना हुई एडमिन ब्लॉक से लेकर के पेरियार हॉस्टल तक की मेरे सामने की थी। तो ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ब्लॉक में जब हम थे तो काफ़ी सारे, आप सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई, ये जान करके लास्ट तक आप आएंगे तो आपको सारी चीज़ें पता चल जाएंगी।
शुरुआत पे नहीं हूं मैं अंबुज,
और जो
अंबुज अभी इस वक्त हमारे पास पूरी जो घटनाक्रम है उसके लिए रिकाउंट करने का वक्त नहीं है, वो हम कर चुके हैं कई बार अपने शो पे। मेरा सीधा सवाल ये है कि क्या ये पॉलिटिक्स इसके पीछे नहीं है कि हमला दोनों तरफ से अगर हुआ, मान लीजिए दोनों तरफ से हुआ, एफआईआर जो दर्ज हुए हैं उसमें सिर्फ लेफ्ट और जो लेफ्ट यूनियन वाले हैं उन्हीं का नाम है, जबकि हमारे पास पिक्चर्स हैं, व्हाट्सएप्स हैं, सब कुछ है, जिससे लगता है कि सिर्फ एक तरफा नहीं था। एबीवीपी का भी
देखिए
उसमें सामने आ रहा है।
मैं आपको बताऊं, आपको ये हमला, आप ऐसे नहीं कह सकते कि हमला दोनों तरफ से हुआ, ठीक है। और एनडीटीवी का मैं आगे इसको बताता हूं, आपको बता दूं कि क्लियरली जो है कई दिन से इस तरह के जो नकाब पोस्ट मॉब लेकर के ये लेफ्ट के सारे ग्रुप और चल रहे हैं, लगातार विजिबल हो रहे हैं उनके फोटोज, ठीक है। तो आप जो व्हाट्सएप और सारे चला रहे हैं, आप बायस एनडीटीवी को कंटिन्यूअसली नेक्स्ट डे से ही मॉर्निंग से बायस न्यूज चला रही है। इसके लिए मैं आपको
बायस न्यूज की बात नहीं है मेरे भाई।
6 तारीख की मॉर्निंग
जब लेफ्ट के लोग, जब आईसी घोष के सर पे चोट लगा है तो आप कैसे कह सकते हैं कि वायलेंस दोनों तरफ से नहीं है? तो उनके सर पे चोट कैसे लगा है?
विक्टिम कार्ड खेल रहे हैं, सुनिए।
नहीं, उनके सर पे चोट कैसे लगा है?
सुनिए सर, क्लियरली हर जगह आइडेंटिफाई किया गया है सर। ये हम कैसे बताएं यार, आप उन्हीं से पूछिए सर।
अच्छा ठीक है।
क्लियरली पेरियार हॉस्टल में घुसते हुए मॉब को लीड करते हुए आइडेंटिफाई किया गया था।
ओके, इनफैक्ट आई स्पोक टू आईसी घोष अर्लियर।
रजिस्ट्रेशन जब हो रहा था,
ठीक है अंबुज,
आप मेरी बात ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं।
मैंने ना ब्लॉक नहीं कर रहा हूं, आपने बात कह दी है।
आपको 2 लेफ्टिनेंट क्लियरली,
मेरे पास वक्त कम है, आई हैव टू गो टू अदर्स आल्सो।
आइडेंटिफाई किया गया है हर जगह उन्हें,
ठीक है। सो आई एक्चुअली हैड अ चांस टू आस्क आईसी घोष अर्लियर अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट नाउ शी हैज 2 FIRs against her, and what does she make of those charges and how is she going to tackle this? And this is what she said.
It's really disheartening to see in a university that the vice chancellor didn't even bother to contact its student that who has been brutally, literally, there was an attempt to murder on me and several students, but the vice chancellor didn't even bother to ask us how we are we surviving even within the hospital, or tried to even contact us. This is the disheartening thought that I had first, because I always considered that JNU is my second home and the university officials will be my guardians who will be there for my security. That is the first thought I am having. Secondly, I want to specifically say in the media that the administration is very cleverly playing and trying to shield the perpetrators and the culprits.
It does say though in the FIR lodged by the administration that in this incident that took place in the server room, or however they've described it, that you and several others, Aishi Ghosh, Saket Moon and several others, indulged in physical violence, pushed the lady guards, verbally abused them and threatened them with dire consequences.
No such incidents happened. We were, as JNUSU representatives, when we got panic calls, I have the proof of voice messages even and screenshots. We got panic calls from students saying that the guards have come and started hitting them with boots. That is the time I went there and I was slapped by one of the security guards.
There is a video of what appears to be a group of students or young people who have sort of got their faces covered. You're part of that, rushing into the Periyar hostel, and it's there that the ABVP says several of their members were injured and that you were in a sense leading that mob or that group.
Nothing. I am just saying I was present and a union representative. It's my duty even to save each and every student, and I, being the JNUSU representative, I've condemned in each possible word any violence happening in the campus from the last 4 or 5 days.
Okay, allow me, at the end of the day, in this current scenario though, you do have these 2 FIRs lodged against you. You do have these 2 FIRs lodged against you. You might claim that they're unfair, but they have been lodged against you. Are you concerned now that the police may take action against you? Are you seeking legal help?
The police first has to have a proof against me to take an action against me, and I am confident that there is no proof. This has been just a story made out by the JNU administration. I want to know where is the Vice Chancellor and why didn't he ever want to meet us when a murder attempt was done on us? Why is the Vice Chancellor now so concerned to put an FIR with an unnamed FIR where he just wants to put name? Why did Professor Ashwini Kumar Mahapatra threaten me on the 4th of January that he will look what he can do after me? When I told him, you can see whatever you want to do. But why were such incidents happening in the campus before this violence? This was an organized attack by whosoever, and the Vice Chancellor is exactly responsible for this. Whatever violence has happened in the campus, and I clearly said this, that the MHRD was having a negotiation at that point. MHRD was supposed to meet us next day. Then why was this done? Why was this pre-planned? There is a WhatsApp group under the name of, why were WhatsApp group formed to attack the particular students? Why was WhatsApp group formed?
Okay, all right. These are all questions now which the administration and the police will have to answer. But for the moment, Aishi Ghosh, thanks so much for talking to us.